Hopefully YouTube is working and we are going live to discuss this month's Cozy Mystery Book Club title, Against the Current. And we have the lovely graphic to showcase how far we are into the TBR. This is just incredible. But anywho, as everything is connecting and syncing, I am going to introduce this lovely lady because you guys probably already know her because she is a returning guest hostess. Every year, Kelly graces us with her presence, taking time out of her day to talk about coziness. I adore her. And over on my website, I actually took screenshots because this woman has had me on her podcast, and I've been a recurring guest every year for her 12 Days of Boobsmas.
Yes.
So we have like this pure romance cozy connection. So I'm pulling up Kelly's information because she is also, I feel so special. I knew her before she was a published romance author. So I've seen her go from reader to author, and I am just so impressed with this woman. So I wanted to say hello and introduce Kelly if you are new to the book club because, as she's like getting she's blushing. For those who are just listening on audio, she's blushing.
Angela is too good to me. Angela, like, even when you've been on my podcast, we spend the first like 20 minutes just being like, isn't she great? Oh my gosh. And she does this. And we do it back and forth because we've kind of had very similar journeys, like same timeline, like we've been kind of doing stuff. And it's always good to talk up your very talented friends. So I will always do that for Angela as well.
Well, it's also very easy because you are very talented and you're also very kind. This is, again, one of those things where sometimes I'll love someone's book and I'll meet them. I'm like, oh, okay, like the interaction's not there, but I like their work. Or other times someone's great. I'm like, oh, I wish I loved their work. I'm like, no, she's both. I get to say that with like an actual smile. Like, I genuinely mean it. I just told her before she had another book. She writes romance novellas. If you're into sports, she's a sports romance author, so check it out. She just had another one come out in her series, so I have a collection going. So someday I'm going to have her autograph all of them for me.
I know. One of these days when we finally get together in person. We've been doing lives and podcast recordings together for, God, at least 4 years at this point. And here we are. Hi, everybody. And here we are, so many books and so many books read and written later. So for both of us.
I am officially, I signed up to do the Crime Bake agent author pitch. So I'll maybe have news for you on the back end. I'll tell her off camera because nothing's happened yet, but I am trying to put myself out there a little bit more because writing behind the scenes and being the introvert isn't always how you're going to get your book published.
I get it. And we were actually talking about this before we started, recording, but a lot has changed for me just in the last few months. And I know that like my process of getting into authoring has been very different from so many people's, but that's kind of how it goes, is like, it's different for everyone. Like some people go right into traditional publishing and hit it big with one book, and other people it's indie publishing all the way. And it takes 20 books until you get your name out there. So it's always different. I recognize some names in the chat. I see a lot of new faces too, but I'm always excited to come back here. It doesn't matter what time of year. It doesn't matter how many books. Angela knows, like, this is a tradition for us, is for me to be on this event and be somewhere else in the world. Like a previous one, it was when I was moving across the country and I tuned in from a hotel room in, I want to say, Nebraska.
I will never forget. She had a friend traveling with her, and the woman was doing like army style crawling on the floor so that she's out of camera. And it was the cutest, most adorable, true friendship moment. It was great. So
that's true. And then this time around, I'm at a writing retreat in the middle of the woods in Southwest Washington. And so you might hear the rain. I'm staying in a vintage camper, and it's made of, tin. So it sounds like, instead of pretty cute raindrops, that the roof's being pounded on. So I apologize in advance if it gets too loud for people.
Maybe it will be comforting and cozy, though. Maybe that's just what people need, the sound of raindrops.
I hope so.
Raindrops and roses and kittens, all the stuff. I was going to try and say we can't link it to the book, though, because I'm like, oh, there's no rain in the book. There's no, like, she's not a camper. I'm trying to think of a way to tie it into the book. And I'm not getting any off the top of my head.
Good food. I will say good food. I've been having lots of good food. Whenever I come to this place, this is my third time coming. It's called the Sou'wester Vintage Trailer Resort. I recommend it to artists of all kinds. They do a fantastic artist residency program. And one of my favorite things when I'm here, yes, Southwest Washington, is to go into town. Long Beach, Washington is a cute little beach town, and they have the best bakery. And that's usually like my one outing a day, is that I drive into the town. It's like 5 minutes down the road. I buy like 3 pastries, bring them back to my little trailer, and sometimes like a coffee, a breakfast sandwich. Today I got a donut.
I love how excited you are and how you're just like, I got a donut. And it's just,
yeah.
I mean, so I have survival of the fritters somewhere around here. So the donut, I took my mom on a donut tour for Boston, and it was amazing. So I'm game for the donuts.
Oh my gosh, Shauna in the chat knows the place, the Cottage Bakery in Long Beach. Yes, that's the one. Oh my gosh, no, seriously, this is such a cute town. And I come at the same time every year. I'm here in the fall when all the beach goers have left, and it's raining. It's actually funny. I'm wearing my my Hoa 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 season shirt. The Twilight readers will understand. And I was like, oh, it couldn't be a better time. Like, this really is Hoa 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 weather right here.
I mean, I've been seeing all the special edition Twilight covers, people doing their own book binding, people showcasing we're going to be having a book event in our bookstore or at the library. Everyone's talking about Twilight. So I'm like, this is actually perfect, on point for the timing of just 20 years of Twilight?
It's insane. I just went to the Twilight in Concert event a couple weeks ago
awesome.
in Portland, and it was really great. And honestly, I feel like that's the only way Twilight should ever be watched from now on, is in a giant theater surrounded by like millennial moms who saw it when we were all like 16, 17 in theaters, with a candlelit stage and musicians. Like, I'm sorry, that is how Twilight was meant to be enjoyed. Like, I'm just putting that out there.
I'm picturing, because I did the Harry Potter in concert one time at the Kennedy
there you go,
where they played the music live for you. I think it was the Chamber of Secrets one, so he's still John Williams. But I know they had a Taylor Swift thing one time. But I'm trying to picture Twilight. I'm like, oh, that would be interesting. I'm trying to play it out in my head, like, oh, that would be fun to go see how this actually.
It was really well done, and they had a male only vocalist, who sang the songs, that like any song that had lyrics, he did the Hoa Hoa Hoas, and oh my gosh, so talented. That is definitely like an art form that I did not receive in my life, so I am very envious and appreciative of excellent music and singers.
I mean, I think that I'm going, okay, is there a blog post? Did you talk about this on your Instagram? I wish I had known about this beforehand. You're so full of useful information about random bookish events.
I do know that it's on tour. I will say that. Like, it look to see if a Twilight in Concert is coming to a theater near you. But yeah, that's true. I'm loving all the Twilight love in the comments as well. Somebody said I'm Buffy and Angel years old. I did grow up on, that was when I was homesick. I would watch Buffy and Charmed. Those would be like my go-to like homesick shows.
Fair. I mean, I grew up with Buffy, so I'm a short little blonde. It's so hard to imagine why that show resonated with me. It's so hard. I mean, granted though, I mean, you just kind of got me thinking. They have the Murder, She Wrote reboot happening, and now there's going to be the Hulu one with Buffy with the reboot. So the reboots are happening.
Amazing. I'll give them all a chance. Like, it's the nostalgia factor. I can't resist it. Like, I will check it out. I will do my best not to compare them to the other ones that I love so much. But I also am like, it makes me happy because I want to see a new generation introduced to at least some semblance of the shows and movies that made such a big difference in our lives at that age. So yeah. Anyway, my bakery anecdote was to tie it into the book. I know we took a detour towards Twilight and Buffy, but
hey, I am game. I remember waiting for the Twilight books to be published. So even though I watched Buffy, I still loved Twilight when it was published. Obviously, romance lover over here. But I remember waiting for the books to be published and getting them the first day and having to figure out if I order on Amazon. This was back when Amazon was still kind of new, right? And you're like, is it going to arrive on time? Am I going to have to wait? Am I better off going to Barnes & Noble or BJ's and getting the copy in person? I fully understand. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anywho, as we're like, just again, I love the rabbit holes and going down like the tangents though.
It happens. It tends to happen with us. If anybody ever wants more of this, you can just go listen to any of the podcast episodes that Angela and I have recorded together for Boobies and Newbies, because there's usually a solid 10 to 20 minutes of us talking about something that has absolutely nothing to do with holiday romance.
But it's always entertaining. It's always somehow related. Something sort of sparked a thought, which led to another, and yet you're smiling and having a good time. So
oh yeah. That's we need that. We need that. Anything that makes you smile like that. So, we all need more
I'm like,
of that.
I actually just realized, I'm like, so my shirt says "in my cozy girl era," and I'm like, that's kind of what you're doing right now. You're in your little like. That's exactly what's happening. I'm like, this is why we get along on the same wavelength.
Yeah, trailer tour. That's it. That's the whole thing.
Oh my gosh. I'm reading the comments. Buffy forever. I'll watch it, but I mean, I'm gonna have my reservations. Anywho, before going live, this lovely lady, I also just showed y'all her information. It's down below in the caption as well. But she did tell me that she enjoyed this book, and people on Instagram have also been stating how much they enjoyed it. People have been saying they love the main character, they love the storyline. So you already said you enjoyed this book. What did you enjoy about our September title?
So I will say, I liked this book. I loved the family. I loved them. And I've been on enough episodes of the Cozy Mystery Book Club with you, and I've read enough cozy mystery books outside of our beautiful club to know that one of the things, actually a couple of the things that we've talked about in previous episodes has been the tremendous lack of diverse representation in cozy mysteries. It's something that, I mean, across all media, I want more of, but in cozy mysteries, we tend to not see a lot of characters beyond the go-to, like, very white-centric, usually of a certain age as well, usually not like on the younger side. So I loved that we had a family that, had immigrated to the United States. They have their bakery, so still tying into like that cozy mystery vibe. Loved grandma. I mean, there's always got to be that character, right? Whether it's the meddling old woman in town or, a grandmother or mother figure. I love that. So I loved the family's like rich history. I feel like I learned a little bit more about like Grenada and just like their Caribbean background. And then the other thing I loved is that it took place in a city. I loved that it took place in Brooklyn because this was something, and you know this, I started writing holiday romance a few years ago, and I have 3 holiday novellas, and they all take place in Los Angeles because I grew up in California. I've lived in cities. I've never been a small town girl. Love to visit them. Don't want to live there. And I wanted to write holiday romance for the city girls. I wanted to write holiday romance that didn't take you out to a cabin in the woods where, I'm sorry, in any other genre would feel like you're going to be murdered. Like I read a lot of thrillers. I watch a lot of horror movies. We are romanticizing so many things in those cabins that are not romantic. And so I wrote city-based holiday romance. And I think cozies are the other genre where we don't see a lot of stories taking place in thriving metropolises. The only exception I can think of off the top of my head is Mia Manansala's series, which I want to say takes place in the Chicago area, which I love. I've interviewed Mia. I know that you guys have read at least one Mia book for Cozy Mystery Book Club. So I'm a big Mia fan, and she blurbed for this book. So when I saw her have a little blurb on the cover, I thought, oh my gosh, amazing. If Mia Manansala is endorsing this one, I am probably going to like it. So the big city and the family were like the main draws for me.
Marta just beat me as soon as I saw the comment. I was just thinking of Cleo Coyle's. They're set in New York. Ellen Byron has one set in New York, I'm pretty sure. There are a few, but what ends up happening, which is kind of fascinating to me, and again, I always put on my little writerly cap of how are they going to make this work? How is this actually playing out in the cozy world versus, any other sort of subgenre or theme or trope? And typically what ends up happening is they'll have the store or a street or the apartment become the community. So that feels like the small town because that has the limited amount of characters. So she kind of did that with the bakery being the central part of, okay, this is where we're all going to gather. This is where the big, confrontation happens. This is where things go down later. And this is where all the characters interact and how they become suspects. So it was almost like home base, even though you're in the city, but she ventured out of the bakery, which was nice. So it wasn't like we were just in one little area. We still got to see Brooklyn experience the other kind of cultural components going on so that it wasn't just, oh, we have one bakery in one spot and this is the one thing talking about the Caribbean lifestyle. So I liked that it was in an actual diverse location. It wasn't just, hey, we have this one bakery doing this one sort of very specific. Nope. I mean, I love how the grandma had an arch rival, first of all, but her arch rival had a store dedicated to a very similar sort of, okay, it has all the different, she had art, what is it? She had artwork, she had posters, she had music, she had all these little things, but they're all very specific to where they came from. So I love that it wasn't just the bakery, it was that entire block. That was the entire community. So like as you're walking down the sidewalk, you're going from one cultural component to the next. So I liked that it was integrated into the community itself. Like the community had all the immigrants, it had the immigrant families, they had the firstborn, the secondborn generations. So it wasn't just, oh, we have this one little place and this is our one cozy element. So you had the coziness with the bakery, but you still had the big city as well. So as you're nodding, you're like, yes, exactly. And people are in the comments saying stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I really appreciate people popping in other book suggestions that take place in cities. I do appreciate that because I am always like looking for more of that, both in romance and like beyond. I will say, I see so many notes that I'm like, I loved when her sister took her, or when her cousin took her clubbing. I did like that. I liked somebody's note about, it was a little farther up. Michelle said, I couldn't understand her opening a bakery and not being able to bake, which I did think was very
one of my notes.
Well.
That was one of my notes. So I did an interview with Deborah H. Goldstein because her sleuther is again very much in the baking realm, but she doesn't bake. It's her sister who is the baker and the one who in the family and in the bakery who does the cooking. So they have sort of very specific roles within the cozy mystery. So we have a sleuther, but she's not the baker, but they have a bakery setting. And at the time I was like, this is so groundbreaking. This is so fascinating. And then you pick up this book and like, it's been this is her lifelong dream. She said she's been putting money aside for bakery since she was 8 or 9. She has had plenty of time to learn how to bake. That was what was fascinating to me. Like she didn't just all of a sudden.
I understood the reason why she wanted to open the bakery. And I saw somebody mention this in the comments as well. It's like, she wants this, especially from like the immigrant perspective of being able to share something about, where they come from. Like, this is our way of like giving back, giving thanks for like, being here in this country and being welcomed. And I loved that. But I kind of questioned, I was like, it is really interesting. Like, why not just open a restaurant? Why not just serve? Because she talks about how she's great at making the entrees, but there was at least like a small explanation about why a bakery, because she wanted those pastries and those desserts and everything to also be something that was shared. So I do there was like a small reason. It was still very odd. Like,
Yeah.
and I do like that during the book, we at least get to see her become better at baking. But it's also like, it's a family venture. Yeah, the bakery was all about the family. It's very much a family venture. Her grandma is involved. Her parents are involved. Her brother, who, by the way they describe him, I'm like, this man is hot. Like, this dude,
The ladies are all there for him.
this would be the hero in the romance novel. I was like, I want Dev's book. Like, Dev sounds hot. And he's a lawyer who can also bake. Are you kidding me? Like,
you have a baker in one of your books.
I do. Yeah. In my first one, food is very much a love language in all of my books. So, that is a consistent thing, but, yeah, I did like that. I loved, I love that we have a little bit of a love, interest, if not a love triangle, perhaps. I haven't read more of the books in the series yet, but I do like a little side of romance and cozies. You'll be so proud of me. I've actually been introducing my roommate to all of the Hannah Swenson Hallmark movies. So we've been watching them one by one, and it's, they're so perfect to watch in the fall and winter. Like, even if they're not fall and winter books or themed movies.
True.
But it kind of reminded me of those where I was like, oh, remember when those first kicked off and there was the new cop in town, but then there was also like the dentist
that was Mike
like
and Norm?
Yeah, yes. And in some of them you're like, ooh, I'm rooting for him, and in some of them I'm rooting for him. And in this one, I would go back and forth. I'd be like, that Bryce man, like, they went to high school together, but they weren't really in the same place. But now he like sees her. I'm like, okay, that could be good. And then I also like the reporter guy, Jose.
He was there dancing with her at the club.
That was cool. That was cool. I liked that one too. And I feel like it could go either way. So now you have to know, as the romance author, my go-to thought is I want them all to be together. I want, what's that clip on TikTok? I want a boyfriend who has a boyfriend and everything. Like, if I could have my way, every love triangle would become a polycule and everyone would be together.
Ashley didn't like Bryce. Interesting. I just saw she didn't like him. Going, oh, okay, we have to have this conversation.
I will say I am also team Jose in this all the way. And I think it's more of, I'm just tired of seeing the sleuth and cop relationship. Like, and there were times where Bryce definitely has like an arrogant, actually, I feel like they both do in some capacity, but he has like a bit of an arrogance to him that is, they talk about where they're like, he's trying to get ahead. He will not let something get in his way of like, I couldn't date
somebody tried to arrest me. That comment is gold.
That's fair. That is fair. And you know what? You can buy handcuffs at a store. You don't need the man who comes with them. Like, let's be honest.
These comments are fascinating because I was really curious, because to me it felt like the author really wanted us to be rooting for Bryce. Like, that's
the feeling I got too.
But at the same time, so I had to kind of keep it in perspective, because she was trying to figure out, he was a senior when she was a sophomore. So when she was a freshman, he was a junior. And in all fairness, if you're a junior, you're not really hanging out with a freshman. But when you're an adult, 5 years is nothing. 10 years, you're like, whatever, same age bracket. But like, when you're in high school, that feels like a world apart. So I kind of understood why they didn't hang around, because at first, when she was talking about the bullying, I'm going, why didn't he ever stand up for her? If he had stood up for her, maybe that's why she cares about him. But it seemed more like she had an infatuation with him in high school, because she talked about, he was his class president. He was on the basketball team.
And he was hot.
So I wasn't really getting the emotional connection. No. I almost wanted to pull that thread and I actually in my head was writing a scene going, I want him to have stopped one of the bullies or put someone in line for trying to say something, because even though we know she's bullied, we don't actually know specifically what they said, why it was so
Right.
why it was so bad, what happened. So I almost thought that would have been the perfect chance for the author to give us context about the bullying, how bad it was, and give him some real depth so that this is why, you know, however 15 many years later, 15, I don't remember the exact age of her, but, you know, 15 years later, like, this is why she remembers him. He still matters to her. I wanted something to like hold on to from their high school experience to say, like, this is why, no matter, even though he's looking at you as a suspect, you still have a soft spot for him. Like, I didn't know, aside from, oh, I had a crush on him in high school, and I'm going, yeah, but I also wore blue eyeshadow in high school. That was a good idea.
He didn't feel like a real person to me. Like, Jose, I had a better sense of like who he was beyond the job. And this is kind of like the common thread I find with a lot of just like law enforcement characters, especially in cozies, is like they don't seem like more beyond the badge to me. Like, it feels very much like he's a cop and that's his entire character and personality. And so it's like I'm with you in that. I feel like if there was like maybe a moment or two, because I feel like we got that with Jose, where like he shows her that like he's potentially interested in her and helping her, you know, beyond just her helping him with the job. And I don't know if we got that from Bryce. And I think there's so many opportunities too, because they have that history. Like, you know, it's like, it's already built in. Like, you could do so much with that. And maybe it's coming. Maybe it's coming in a future book. Oh my God. Jay said I should write a sleuthing polycule cozy mystery. And you better believe I would love that. Because
it's not like she's not, I mean, you're writing, you already have how many things in the works right now? I mean, I
have 7 books out now, and I'm working on 8 right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know you're working on a couple different things, though. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So, I mean, add this to her future writing.
Why not?
Like, I was going to say, not TBR, like the to be written.
Yeah, I like that.
To be written.
But it seems like a lot of people are really on the same page with. Oh, and I like what is it tooth rough or tooth throw? It's like it could be read a few ways. This was my one thing. This was probably like my one negative about the story, was just that, and I think this is pretty common in the first book in a lot of series, is that you focus so much on introducing the characters and their dynamics, that sometimes the mystery kind of falls to the side. Like, I've noticed that in the books that we've read for Cozy Mystery Book Club. And I know that you pick the first book in the series. And so that can be, I think, a side effect of that. I see that in romance novels a lot too, where there's so much time put into laying the foundation for the town that they live in, and all of the different characters that exist in this world, that you have to remind yourself, oh, but wait, there's also a romance that's going on, or, oh, there's also a murder that needs to be solved. So I did feel like it was kind of a slow start to get into the actual sleuthing.
That's fair. And the fact, so I was kind of fascinated by the fact that she had a family meeting of, should I be a sleuther? Should I sleuth and investigate versus just picking up the torch and running with it?
And doing it.
Yeah, there was an actual chapter pretty much of, I'm explaining to my family why I need to pursue this. And I don't think I've ever really seen it put or done quite that way before. Usually you have to convince the friend, or the friend has to convince the sleuther, but I've never actually had a family meeting, at least not off the top of my head.
They're very involved. They're a very involved family.
So yeah, going back, so I actually, when we were talking about the food, someone above said the family was the central component for this, and that is, I wholeheartedly fully agree with that, because even my notes about certain things when you were talking about the food, I wrote down about how Granny told a story about her and her sister during All Souls Day and how they ate the food. That was funny.
I love that anecdote.
Granny slapped her hand away when she was eating the product. She goes, "This is quality control." I mean, the family interactions in the bakery, and even I wrote down like it's a family endeavor for the bakery. It really does come back to her interacting with her granny because the granny wants her to go be a sleuther, and then the cousin helps her be the sleuther. So even when she's undertaking the mystery, the family is in, like, if she's driving the car, they're in the seat right next to her.
Mama Rocks 2.0 said, "Can you imagine marrying into a family like that?"
Oh, I would be scared. I know Deb has a potential love interest by the end of the book, but like at least she knows what she's getting into, because their first date is a family dinner, which is also very intimidating, might I add, for some people.
Oh, that was the other thing, was I was like, come on, brother, you have this gorgeous woman who's like throwing herself at you. Like I wanted to smack him silly a little bit to like make sure that something happened there. Somebody also mentioned, along with it taking place in a city, what I liked about that is that it opens up the possibilities for like activities and things that they can do. And so we talked about the clubbing scene. That's one. Like, you're not going to see a clubbing scene typically in a cozy romance. And the kickboxing thing, which I was like, bad ass. That is fantastic, because I liked that it wasn't just maybe like brought on by like, oh, something happened to me, so I took 1 or 2 self-defense classes. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the fact that she's invested years into kickboxing, and we finally got to see her use it, because that was my one thing. It's like Chekhov's gun, where I was like, if they talk about kickboxing this entire book and we don't get to see her beat the crap out of somebody, I'm going to be really upset. So I'm glad that we got that like plant and payoff of, I can kickbox. Let me show you kickboxing. Got him. I did very much appreciate that.
That you just took the words right out of my mouth, the payoff, because she goes to the gym and she has this mental of left, right, and the way it's kind of paced, I listen to the audio, because again, I always try and be as prepared as humanly possible. So I read the physical book and then I listen to the audio, and the way the narrator did it was really great, with like the pop. It was the timing of it worked really well. And so I was really invested in her doing kickboxing. One of my notes is that I think the exhibition is kind of a cliffhanger, because we don't know if she's doing it yet. She's thinking about it and she's gonna do it, but how's it gonna go? Because we don't have the actual kickboxing exhibition in this book. So I'm going, okay, we got to get this in book 2. But the payoff, that was the key word right there, because she's practicing, and it's not so much let me get my aggression out, or again, I'm preparing to have a fight, because even for the exhibition, she doesn't want to have to fight someone. But I love that she was able to defend herself in that moment, because so frequently it's, I'm the damsel in distress, or I'm going to confront the killer alone. She did not want to confront the killer alone, so got to give her credit for that. She fell into a trap with this, but that's a whole separate issue. But she didn't want to just, I love it when they're going, I must confront this person by myself without informing the cops. That's not smart.
Oh, Hannah Swenson. That's the Hannah Swenson effect right there. Like every time. But no,
she didn't do that. And then she defended herself. So I'm like, you go.
She was very smart about like that whole ending sequence, like of just like how it went, and you know, throwing her off guard and everything. And I did really like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm always here. One of my favorite things to write in a book is like a weird hobby or fascination, because it's usually something that interests me. And I'm like, oh man, I want an excuse to talk about this thing. Like I'm working on a character right now who's very interested in bees. And so I've been like researching things about bees and honey production and all the equipment you wear. And it's so fun to put something like that in. And I can't think of a cozy mystery that I've read where she's been interested in kickboxing. But then again, the ones that I've read where the character is also under the age of 30 are kind of far and few between. But I know that we've seen more of that in like the more recent years. So I do appreciate that. I think the people who are writing cozy mystery now and the people who are publishing it are getting it out to a wider audience by appealing to like a younger audience as well. So I love that.
the millennial cozy. It's taken on a whole new life of its own. But
That's so true.
I like that it was a different hobby. And I'm not saying this in any judgmental way. I mean, I just mentioned I took my mom on a donut tour. So I love the bakery components,
Mhm.
but you don't frequently get a baker sleuther who also exercises to offset the calories or offset whatever they're eating in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I appreciated the fact that she was almost trying to show us a life balance of I can eat whatever I want and enjoy it. And I'm good with that, but I'm also going to exercise and I'm going to keep myself healthy. I liked that she was showing both sides of it because sometimes there was one cozy one time where they almost made it seem like the girl who was working out was really high maintenance, and I'm going, oh, that kind of felt mean because she wanted to be healthy versus, oh,
that's
I'm gonna.
kind of a stereotype I feel like we do see in a lot of books. And it's funny because I actually just did a panel discussion where we were talking about I write plus size romance, and
Yeah.
so we were talking about sort of like stereotypes that we'll find in romance with fat main characters.
Yeah.
And I use the term fat as it's not a derogatory thing, like it's a word
Yeah.
that like many people who are of a bigger size have like reclaimed. So but we talked about that, how that's kind of like sometimes a recurring stereotype of like you'll find a lot of plus size characters who are bakers, and you'll find a lot who don't exercise, or it's the opposite, they're on a weight loss journey so they exercise all the time. And you're right, this was like kind of a nice in between, like she felt real, like I mean she felt like a real person, where it's like, I live in a city, I've lived here. She not only lives in a city, she grew up in this city, she's lived there for years, and she works out, and she has family that she goes clubbing with because they're basically just best friends, and they she doesn't have time for dating because she's invested in this career that she's launching. So I know you're right, it felt very real, and it's nice to have that balance, because I mean, I love the stories where like everybody has their own small business, but you can't help but wonder half the time, like, how are they doing this, how are they affording this, like how is this happening? And it's nice to see kind of like a more just realistic picture of that. So yeah, I appreciated that.
I'm nodding my head because she was also dedicated waking up early to go to the gym. Like she integrated it into her everyday routine so that she could exercise, get her frustrations, and she enjoyed working out too. That's the other thing that sometimes you'll encounter it as a chore, or I had this really bad day, I have to go run and get this out of my system. She was working out because she wanted to. That to me almost felt groundbreaking. I've seen so many instances of, it's a bad day, I'm going to go running. Something causes the exercise. There's, X leads to Y. It's not exactly I'm just going to work out because I want to work out, or, this is a part of my everyday routine. I just appreciated that. And I saw saying eating what you want, working out. Again, that whole life balance of she's a real person. I mean, you don't have to be a to, and I mean, I loved her. I really liked the way that was portrayed in that way.
Yeah. I also liked how I like that how this author described how I don't put a lot of description into my books of like how people look. Like to me it's because like I usually only specify things if like to me they're important to the character or whatever. But I'm like, if people want to picture this girl as a blonde, I don't care. Like if people want to, picture them as a size 20, I don't care, like whatever. And so for me though, I really do like when people are very intentional with like the details that they put in to describe characters. And I think one of the things that this author did so well was, describing how she and her family, how she wears her braids, and that the fact that she has to put her braids back, like when she's doing, when she's baking. And then even like when we meet her cousin also has braids, but they're thicker and they're shorter, and they have like a reddish color, woven into them. And so it's like, I like that we got this. And I mean, I know that this probably sounds like a little weird coming from like a white woman. But it's like, I love that we got to see different depictions of race and ethnicity, even though
Yeah.
they all have like a similar background, with the exception of like Jose and obviously like the rival bakery and some of the supporting characters. But our main family, you know, they all come from the same location. They have their extended family that's there, but they all felt individual and unique. And I that's something that's hard to do in any genre, is to make sure that everyone's voice not only sounds unique, but that we can kind of have some sort of visual to them.
Yep.
And I thought the author did a really good job with that. I was a little jealous because I feel like that's something that I need to work on more in my writing. So I did appreciate how she did that.
So I put up the book cover when you were talking about the description, and this is just me being me, because we have the illustrated covers, and sometimes it'll just be the outside of the bakery with the animal. I so appreciate the fact that they had a diverse character on the cover.
She
And then
is gorgeous.
And then, even though she's not on the cover for the subsequent books in the series, you can still see her hands, and you can clearly see that this is not a white woman. And I remember Beverly Jenkins, who does romance, talking about how she had a white woman's legs on the cover for her book because they were trying to just showcase the legs with the heels. So I love that they're showing you who this character is. And it's not like, oh, we're going to all of a sudden pop up with the diversity factor. Like, no, this is front and center, and we're honoring it.
Yes.
Like the entire series, even with the title itself, it's all honoring the heritage. And I feel like I was learning about some of these foods because I don't have a bakery like this in my hometown, so I'm learning about their heritage and culture as well. But yeah, I love that they have the braids. I mean, this book cover is absolutely gorgeous. And I understand it so much better now, having read the book. We have the charm bracelet, and the little butterfly I'm going to show. It's on the back of the book as well. And so when you look at the front of the book with the butterfly, when I first saw this, I'm thinking what kind of germs? This is disgusting. Why is there a butterfly there?
Yeah, like why is there a butterfly?
But it's not. There are butterfly decorations in the bakery. Like, and even then, so I'm literally just gonna show it because she's wearing a button and says "I Heart NY." I was gonna try and pull this up again, but trying to show it where it is on the image versus just pointing to very different. But yeah, everything about this book cover is gorgeous, and I love that they're showcasing her, and she's really beautiful. Like, they did her justice, and so that makes me very happy. I'm looking, like, which was the publisher? St. Martin's. St. Martin's did a very good job.
And she looks the way that she is described. Chekhov's charm bracelet. I appreciate that. But she looks exactly how she's described, because I will say that is a huge issue for me when it comes to for me, it's usually when it comes to like body diversity, because I do write plus size romance. It's hard for plus size romance authors to find models to, for like real life, if you want that look on your book covers. And so a lot of times we do turn to illustrated covers, and I always have to be very specific with whoever's doing my illustrations about, like, no, this is like, I want her to be this curvy. I want her to have rolls on her stomach. I want her to have like thicker arms. Like you really do need to be specific, because there have been plenty of times, and anybody who's here that does also read romance will know, there have been many times where people have been duped by the advertisement of like a curvy character or, something like that. And then you read it and you're like, well, that's not what I was promised. Yeah. Like, or you see like fan art, and it's somebody who's clearly like a size 4. And it's just like, okay. So I love that we got exactly what was promised to us in the book. So yeah, kudos to her, the artist, the publisher, like all of that.
I'm just nodding along. Everything you're saying is amazing. I think I had an appreciation for the book cover after having read the book, because all the details pulled together and made sense with the bracelet and the flag, like everything in the comments you guys are pointing out. Looking back at it, I'm going, oh, it's so well done. But before, I'm going, why is there a butterfly on the food? Why are there handcuffs? What's happening? I needed more context. And now I have it, and I'm happy. But someone up above mentioned, and I don't know where the comment is, and I lost it, but I pulled it from my notes. They mentioned Rocky at the gym. another character. I appreciated this woman so much because she worked on herself for herself, and she wants to inspire our leading lady to join into the exhibition. Someone up above said women supporting women. I'm going, yes, that is exactly what Rocky wanting Lyndsay to do the kickboxing exhibition was. This random woman at the gym is just her biggest supporter. And I'm going, I love that. I don't know about the whole staring at her for a couple weeks. Again, maybe she was waiting to see. This was in the book. Apparently Rocky, whom she became friends with, you know, she ended up talking with her. Apparently Rocky was looking at her, trying to work up the courage or get that connection. But for a while, she's going, the starer, she's back.
That was interesting because, like, I will say, as somebody who doesn't go to the gym as often as I should be, but I do belong to a gym. I thought she might be the murderer at some point because I was like, why are we introducing this woman? Like, I don't understand. So it's one of those things where it's like, I almost feel like we could have met her in book 2. Like, book 2 was about the kickboxing exhibition. But you know, you're planting seeds and seeing where they go in the series. I totally get that as well. But it's kind of a well-known thing, at least for most women, that like you don't want men approaching you at the gym. But I would never shy away from like another woman coming up to me at the gym. So that's why I kind of found it odd. Was I was like, I don't know why she's so, like, she's just staring at her. Like, that just felt very weird to me.
So I go to the gym pretty regularly, and I have had some very interesting interactions. So I will never forget, because the machines can be placed when you're doing an arm machine. Again, you're there for a little bit when you're doing your reps. And one time I was on a machine and there was a guy across the way from me, and I was trying to figure out what his tattoo was. To this day, I still don't know, but I'm staring at his arm trying to figure out what the tattoo was. And at one point he kind of went like this, like, hi, like trying to like be like, what are you looking at?
You're like, and no, I'm looking at your arm, turn.
I was just so mortified though. I'm like, I just got up and walked away. So I had my own accidental staring moment. So I weirdly like understood Rocky. I'm going, okay, I've been there. I actually been there. So I can't judge her after. And I've never seen this guy since. Maybe he's been avoiding me. I don't know, but I never know what that tattoo was. I never learned.
One of the most unbelievable things to me, and somebody kind of said this in the comments, was that Rocky was trying to get a beat down in the gym. Who stares at someone in a city? And that's real. Look, I haven't lived in New York, but I've lived in Chicago. I've lived in LA. I've lived in Minneapolis. I live in Portland, Oregon now. I have lived in cities my entire adult life. And you do not stare somebody down, let alone at the gym. Like, if it's not the gym, it's the bus stop or the train. Like, you don't make eye contact with anybody ever. And so it was a little odd, but I was wondering if like it was to kind of throw suspicion. But then I feel like that never went that way. I don't know. But I will say, to me, the mystery itself was very minor compared to the rest of the book. I really do love this family. I think the mystery got going, but it wasn't until like halfway through the book that I was like really invested. I will say I did predict the killer. It was not for the reason exactly that I thought it was going to be, but it was along the same lines of, you know, trying to get somebody out of the way. Are we spoiling it or no?
I looked up at I'm like, we've been talking long enough. So if you guys spoiler free, now we're diving into the spoilers. So here's your warning. This is the moment we can talk about spoilers. Also, I saw this comment up above. Thank you. I'm really glad the video is not boring and you're enjoying the conversation. I saw that. Thank you. That made me very happy.
Yes. Okay. So I did, and I'm terrible with names. The fact that I've remembered as many names as I have so far is impressive to myself. And so I knew it was going to be her.
Robin.
Thank you. And I basically was under the impression of, oh, she's getting rid of him so that she can marry the son. I thought it was going to be for like altruistic reasons. I was like, maybe I've been reading too many romances because I thought she just wanted to marry this man and he was standing in the way of their love. And she wanted the money. So you know what? fair enough. Like, I don't know. Like, it's kind of, it's very difficult for me in the year 2025 to feel bad for mean people with money getting taken out. Like, it's a little difficult for me to feel like too bad.
I just saw this comment. To be honest, I forgot I was supposed to be solving the murder. I was there for the vibes. That's amazing.
And that's so true. That's so true. But I knew that it wasn't going to be our red herring, you know, murder with the, what was the other gal? Jane.
So there was Jenna, and then
Jenna.
It's not Maciel, it's Marisol and her stolen recipe. I was trying to look it up. I was like, I knew it began with an M. I was so proud of myself that I knew that.
I knew it wasn't going to be Jenna. Like, to me, that was like too obvious. And so when they
we
called that it was her, I was like, no, that can't be it.
So we have to talk about Jenna, because one of my notes, where did it go? It was specifically about how, here it is. So she died off the page. So basically, I wrote down the lady's name. So there's Tanya and Benny, and they're regulars. And Tanya was so excited to hand Lyndsay the newspaper saying, look, you're out, you're cleared. This is what happened. And it turns out Jenny overdosed. And then you have our real murderer fake a suicide note. And that was absolutely horrific and awful. And I was really kind of not, I don't want to say caught off guard or took a left turn, but the fact
I was caught off guard.
I mean, I don't know how to describe it, because it was off the page. I mean, our sleuther, she didn't find the body. She wasn't involved in any way. She's reading about it in the newspaper the next day. And so this whole secondhand information with this devastating moment kind of took me out of like a cozy realm going, what just happened? It got really real for me.
That was a missed opportunity to me, as well as like, I feel like if, first of all, I was really sad that she died. I know that we do see stuff like that happen in mysteries in general, right? We do see like, oh, this person died and oh, we assumed it was this person kind of thing. But usually it's that our sleuther finds them and maybe it becomes, oh no, this is another murder that is going to be, you know, they're going to think Lyndsay did this one too, or she came across the body, and even if it was staged as a suicide, that she still found her. Like, it just, it felt very, and the way that she was killed as well. And I see Shauna, you know, said this, that she was killed by overdosing. Like, that really caught me off guard. So it was not just like the fact that it was secondhand information. We never got to see it. We just heard about it. And the way she was killed was terrible. Like, I mean, that one was, oh God, I was about to say like a terrible pun about it being like a hard pill to swallow. And that is, I didn't even mean to like put it in that context. It just was so sad. Like, I felt really bad, because I was like, Jenna didn't deserve this. Like, this is not fair at all.
No. And she was very upfront about how she felt about our victim. And she there was no airs about her. She wrote a lovely blog post saying how wonderful the bakery was. And even though she didn't like the victim, she didn't do anything wrong. She wasn't mean or rude. She was a plot device in that way, and it was sad. I mean, again, I know this is a fictional character, but it really brought me down in that moment. I'm going, oh my, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't happy about it. And typically we've had these conversations previously about how we have victims who are kind of going, yeah, this wasn't the best guy. People in town, it's not exactly like they're going to miss them. And there's always some sort of justice in a way somewhere along the line. But here's this innocent character with her whole fictional life ahead of her. And
she didn't get it. Her mom didn't get, like, it just, it just felt really, it did feel like a plot device. And it was so interesting to me, because I felt like a lot of the book was so thoughtful with the characters that it almost didn't feel like it was like the same book to me, like, or the same author even. Like, I I really loved the family and that there was so much given to them. I know that we all kind of had some thoughts about Bryce, that like maybe he hasn't really gotten like a redemption arc yet. And I do think that should this like continue with this like potential love triangle, and granted, I haven't read the other books, maybe other people have and they can speak to this. But I do think there will be more to Bryce. I don't know if it'll make me like him anymore. I'm Team Jose all the way. But I do just feel like what end, like Jenna's ending was just, I don't know. It didn't really feel like we got any closure with that at all. Like, obviously we catch the real killer. Great. But even then I was like, that's really cold-blooded too of her to take Jenna out that way when Jenna like had nothing in it. Like, ugh, terrible.
So you just reminded me when you were talking about kind of coming from left field and it making it feel like a different book. The one thing that I'm still questioning about is you literally get shot at and the police are going, okay, you staged it. Nobody was questioning being shot at. I'm sorry. I know it's the city and things happen in the city. I know.
It's New York.
Yeah. But nobody's questioning being shot at. I would think the cops would care a little bit more about a potential shooting, and just throwing that out there. And also, you don't really get a lot of guns in cozy mysteries, just randomly getting shot at. I'm sorry. I actually had to go back and go, I read that correctly. This wasn't a typo. Because I was not anticipating them being shot at. Yeah. And then the cops not caring.
And like, I thought, at least with like the Jenna thing, it did make sense to me that like, then I already forgot her name. Robin is like breaking in and trying to plant the bottle, but they catch her in the act and everything. And so there's not like a lot of, cause I also, when Jenna died, I looked at the page count and was like, how much is left in the book? Because this is the other thing is like, I think maybe this could have been maybe more of like a pacing issue, because there was only about 30 pages left in the book, at least the Kindle version, when Jenna dies. And I'm thinking 30 pages, like we have 30 pages to like wrap this up, figure out who not only killed Jenna, but then they planted something in the bakery. And, obviously they're also the person who killed, what's his name? Claudio. And, Claudio. And it just,
we have to say,
I don't know.
No on, by the way.
Claudio. It sounds like a male model in Italy.
I know.
Which he
it's a much nicer name than he deserves.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think the Jenna thing did really tick me off. But I think even with that, you still could have done that in a different way. Like if you were so set on, taking Jenna out of the story and also blaming that on, or at least trying to implicate Lyndsay, I can see that. I can see that still being in the story. I think it was more of a timing issue and how it was handled, and just, I don't know, it just felt very glossed over. Like we spend so much time on the main mystery that then somebody else dies and she barely gets a few pages of acknowledgement.
I'm nodding along because I think also because of who I am as a person. I mean, if someone I know I would be sending flowers. I mean, I know the mother passed away. I don't know if she had another close family. I'd want to make sure, like, is there a dog? Is the dog okay? I would have so many follow-up questions to make sure, like, well, I mean, if you have a pet, who's taking care of the pet? I mean, that's a very real question that comes up when people pass away. And so I knew she had just met her, but it didn't look like she had a lot of people in her life. So, I mean, I would want to send flowers to the funeral home or go to the wake to show my respect. So I think maybe also that was a chance for us to see a little bit more of the character, or have more vulnerable moment, like a moment with her that she could have explored. Again, maybe book 2, she's visiting the grave, leaving flowers. I don't know. But I think there's an opportunity there to just show Lyndsay being thoughtful. Because I mean, that's what I would like to see her do as a kind person, as someone you don't want to be friends with. And yes, we do have to talk about him because, okay.
Is this Alfonso?
So we have to change topics as I'm looking at the comments, because this is also a character I personally really enjoyed. So we meet Alfonso, the defense lawyer that the brother has been a mentor to. And this guy is so stinking cute. He's wearing a bow tie. And our leading lady, she could not get over the fact he's wearing a bow tie. And in all honesty, yeah, if a lawyer came in and he's going to defend me in a murder trial and he's wearing a bow tie with polka dots, I'd have questions too. So we do have to talk about Alfonso. So what are your thoughts on him?
Loved him. Let me tell you, this book is lawyer propaganda, because Alfonso and Dev, I would read an entire book series about the two of them. Like, I'm like, it could be Dev and Alfonso solving crime, because when they got into like lawyer mode, when they were like, there to defend her, I was like, oh, this is sexy. Like, and again, I know that
leaned in a little. You're like, wink, wink.
I know that I'm a romance reader and writer, and like, so I tend to look at things and be like, ooh, they've got this enemies to lovers things going on. Okay, I can see that's gonna happen. Or, but both of those guys, when they come across as very sweet and on the softer side, like Dev bakes and he's very family oriented. Alfonso strolls in a bow tie. Oh great, I'm so glad we're all on the same page of Dev and Alfonso.
For the record, I do like bow ties. I was just saying, our character here, she was going, this guy's going to defend me in this murder trial and clear my name. I mean,
I get it.
I was also curious if he was shaving because he looks so young. I mean, bow ties can be dapper. Someone said Sinatra up above. I'll give you credit. I'm not saying no to bow ties. I'm just saying.
But it's just sort of like, especially if you're thinking about like the fact that this is like in Brooklyn, like a man coming in with a bow tie, like it's not, it's giving like South Carolina gentleman. Like I'm not seeing it as like, this is the lawyer I'm hiring to defend me in a murder trial in Brooklyn. So I was like, I love both of these men. Those are the two ones I like. Honestly, I could get rid of Jose and Bryce and just keep Dev and Alfonso, and I'd be fine.
Someone was saying he has to end up with her cousin because he is too precious and too sweet not to get the happily ever after he deserves.
Yes.
When he went in the middle of the night, this guy comes to her aid and he sits there with her. He does a good job when she's at the police station. He's also doing this all for free because he thinks of Dev as his big brother, so she's the honorary little sister. I mean, he is just a genuinely good guy, and he's going out of his way to be kind to Lyndsay and help her. And I'm going to say something. I think he was very patient with Lyndsay, because if you're a lawyer, your job doesn't start until there's something to work with. He can't do anything until she's been charged or until there's something printed for libel or slander. Like, he can't do anything until there's an actual case. And Lyndsay is asking him to make it so there's no case. That's no case is going to be brought to them. And that's not how being a lawyer works. And she wasn't really grasping that concept for a little bit.
Well, and I like that a few folks in the comments touched on this, of that it's a great tactic, whether or not this is like, and I would think he comes across as a very smart man. Like, so I do think that this is like a purposeful thing of him wearing bow ties, coming across as, it's very cute and demure. He coming across very sweet, very soft spoken, and then boom, shark mode, like attack in the courtroom. It would make such a good, like courtroom drama character, because I feel like we don't get to see that a lot. Like maybe a little bit in the reboot of Matlock, but it's more of like that she's a older woman, and that's why people don't expect it. But I kind of, it made me think, I was like, for all of the cozy mysteries that we have where she falls for the sheriff or the retired cop or the detective, there are not a lot of them where it's a lawyer. And I do think you could still get like the law and order side of somebody like helping you solve crime without them actually being in law enforcement, technically. in a cozy mystery. So I kind of loved that. Yeah, but I do understand why we always have like a detective character in sleuths anyway, because of like their access to information and stuff. But the cops in this one weren't helping her. So like,
No.
I mean, that's kind of the thing of like, I really loved her and Jose teaming up, that he writes the crime beat, and like now she has access to not only her brother as the lawyer and his entire like team of, you know, mentees that he's mentoring, but then also Alfonso. I'm like, I think that could be a better partnership than her partnering with Bryce or any of the other cops. Like I'm in the firm camp of I love to read things where and watch things where the cops aren't the brightest bulbs and the other people solve the crimes. Like I personally liked to read that and watch that. So yeah, I'm here for the hot lawyers and crime beat reporters.
And also, he's got the crime beat in New York, so it's not as if he's gonna be downsized anytime soon. I'm just throwing that out there randomly.
Yeah.
I've been watching The Office, downsizing. You know, they're always talking about downsizing on the show. I everything you just said exactly, and then someone up above had mentioned. Oh, where did it go? What?
Ashley just cracked me up. Bryce was worse than useless. I'm team hot lawyer.
That's great. I love the comments. I feel like every so often we should just take them out of context. Oh, I know what I was going to look for. Someone up above mentioned the grandmother making the lawyers apologize to her in public because they wanted her to be there. They were trying to pin it on her, and then she solved their case for them. So they actually had to apologize in public in the bakery. And the fact that the grandmother somehow made that happen, I want to know what that conversation behind closed doors were. Like, how I know we get them doing it in public, apologizing. I want to know what she said to get them there. I want to know that conversation.
I feel like that was because Bryce is the one that delivers the apology on behalf of the police department. And I feel like that was what was meant to be his redeeming moment. And
but Granny made him. He didn't do it out of the kindness of his heart.
And that's the thing is like he's always implying things like, oh, maybe he did actually see her in high school. And maybe because like he acts like she even says a few times, Lyndsay says, like, I don't know. He's saying things like, how long have we've known each other for so long? Like, why don't you call me Bryce? And she's like, we don't know each other. What are you talking about? Like, yes, we went to high school together, but we don't know each other.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't even remember the people I did go to high school with in my own year, let alone a year above or below me.
Yeah. So I'm like, Granny can make anybody do anything, as we've seen in this book. And I hope that continues. But so I loved that moment, but I'm also like, I need something from Bryce. Like I need more from him beyond everybody saying things for him, or, you know, I don't know. I need something with him. Like, what is Bryce's actual personality? Exactly. No, I'm wondering the same thing, where it seems like his personality is being that hot guy from high school. Like,
I was going to say, did he peak in high school? Maybe he peaked in high school and that was it. And he's just reliving.
I don't know. I don't know. And so I'm like, I would love more from him, or I would love for in the future books, him to just not be part of it at all. Like, he's there, but like, we don't care. And we focus on Jose and the hot lawyers. Like, that's it.
Well, even though you will not like Stan in this book, like, even though you're annoyed by Stan, you know his personality. And I wrote it down at one point because I thought this was an absolutely hysterical reference. She referred to him as the Idris Elba Luther wannabe. I thought that was so great. Like, that was just such a random throwaway pop culture line, but I immediately was going, the Luther wannabe. Okay, I understand his character. I'm done. I know exactly who we're referring to and why. Even Stan, this really secondary around the periphery character, I understood him. I did. I understood who Stan was. And so Bryce was absorbing Stan's character.
Yeah, and Jay actually just mentioned this in a comment. This is kind of where I thought that we were going with Bryce's character, is that, oh, I secretly thought you were like really cute in high school, but because I was like the popular guy, I couldn't go after the younger girl that was being bullied by my friends. I personally am done with that trope. Like it's not for me. I know that some people like that, not me. I would actually not mind it if it was the opposite, where it's like he didn't remember her from high school. That it's like, oh, we went to high school together. Like I was such a jerk back then. I don't remember you. I'm not that guy anymore. Like I would like that, but I think we're past that point now. The Luther wannabe though, great.
It was a great reference.
Great reference.
So I feel like I reference this book pretty frequently, but Killer Chardonnay, there's the cop, but he was kind of a mess in high school. It turned out he had a really bad home life and he was a druggie. Like there was all sorts of different things going on. So
Great.
He was really genuinely not the person he was in high school, who he became. Like I love this guy's character in the book because he's a little cinnamon roll. He's a sweetheart. And I liked him as a love interest for a little bit. I mean, but that showed character development between the high school guy and then the cop he became. So I think that's another example where I'm going, oh, I've seen it done really, really well. So, I mean, maybe in book 2, we're going to get more, context with Bryce, but I do think we need some more information about him and his life and how he got there, other than the fact he's just devilishly good looking.
I agree. Look, I get it. You're hot. Like, that's great. Great for you. That's wonderful, but I would love for you to be more than that.
The hotness isn't a personality. It's one of those, okay, are you working out all the time to take care of your body because you were overweight as a kid and you want to do this for health? I just love how I just accidentally was Chris Traeger from Parks and Recreation doing that. I just realized I was accidentally describing him. That was no way intentional. But there's got to be some sort of context of why you are or something else. But this is why it's a series. This is why there's a book 2 to go pick up, I guess. So, I mean, yeah. Will you be reading book 2? I mean, I know you have your chosen love interest for her.
I know. I actually do think I want to read the next one, and that will probably decide if I read more in the series. So Hard Doe Homicide is book 2. And I didn't even read the synopsis for this one. So I don't even know what book 2 and 3 are about. But I want to see more of the family. I just want some answers with the love triangle. I am hoping that by the end of book 2, there's a little bit more of a direction, that I can pick up on with that. I swear if she introduces another man, I'm going to be like, what? We already have so many we're working with. So, I'm not in a rush to get to it, but I will say this. I feel like this was a really nice read when I got to it, because I usually read cozies more in the fall and winter because I want to be cozy. And so I feel like this was a good one to read at this time. It looks like some people are saying, Kay, what's her face said, I read books 2 and 3. I don't remember who she gets with. Oh no. If somebody just tells me, that would DM me
on Instagram. Tell me.
Yeah. And like I said, and I know we've talked about this in, and Eeyore Girl, good name, said I can't move on to book 3. The repetition was too much. This is something that I'm always interested in with a book 2 in a series is, and this is for any genre, is do we still have some of the same kind of pacing issues that we did in book 1? Are we still focusing more on the family or the romance as opposed to the mysteries? Yeah. So I'm kind of curious to see what book 2 looks like versus book 1. Yeah, I don't know.
As I have the different screen monitors over here, so I'm going over to the YouTube. So I'm just looking with the poll. So it looks as if, will you show the results, YouTube? So it looks 58% gave it 4 stars, 21 3 stars, and 16% for 5 stars, with only 5% giving it 1 or 2 stars. So it looks as if you enjoyed it. So
yeah, I think that aligns with me, at least. I feel like I would be between a 3 and 4 star on this one. I loved the family, loved the setting. I really actually enjoyed her writing style a lot. I would almost be more interested in, and maybe you or folks tuning in can help with this. I would be more interested in maybe if she has another book series, or if there's another standalone or something. And I know that we said it feels like she's always going to focus more on the family than the mystery. I'm still okay with that. If it's like a 60-40 split, I can do that. I don't expect it to always be like the mystery at the forefront. But I would like a little bit more mystery than what we got in this specific one. But that might also just be my personal taste.
I mean, when you pick up a cozy mystery, you expect a mystery.
We got the cozy. We got the cozy.
I'm going wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I don't know how else to say it. If you pick up a mystery book and it's not a mystery, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I get that. I mean, and honestly, I say the same thing about romance novels. This will probably be the first year that I don't do the 12 Days of Boobsmas for boobies and newbies. And it's because now that I'm writing and I'm doing multiple projects a year, I'm kind of stepping back from the podcast. And there's also the complicated nature of like reviewing books while also writing books. And so that's something that I'm doing a lot less of. But that's something that we've talked about. I have over 200 episodes of Boobies and Newbies. And one of the things we talk about in a lot of them is like, oh, I felt like we didn't have like an emphasis on the romance. I felt like this was something that was like more about the small town, or this was about overcoming grief. And then like there was also a romance. And so I'm with you in that if the genre is cozy mystery or the genre is romance, I am expecting that to be at the forefront, and then everything else can also be there. But, the emphasis on those elements.
if you're pitching a certain genre, it needs to meet reader expectations in that way. Otherwise, you will have disappointed readers, and you never want that, because then it's unfair for everyone. The reader didn't get what they wanted, then you're probably going to get a review that's reflective of that because they didn't get what they wanted. So it's just going to be in terrible cycles, a little circle going around and around.
Yeah. I like seeing some people's favorite lines. I did have a couple of highlights that were unrelated to like what we were talking about. But I did have a few that I thought it was funny. The bit about how they call clearance sale clearance sale. So it sounds like a person instead of a discount at a store. I thought this was actually there were a couple of very poignant lines like sprinkled throughout. And one of the ones was when it's near the beginning, and it's when Lyndsay talks about how she had gone to Claudio's bakery at one point and she left because he was rude. But she said, I left without buying anything and had never gone back. Rewarding discourtesy didn't sit well with me. And I was like, ooh, oh my gosh, that hit me really hard, because it's such a short throwaway line. But how true is that? Where it's like you wait in line and then you're dealing with somebody, and not just like at a store. I mean, like in any arena. And I think about it as a single woman who dates, that it's like, that is also a major factor of I don't owe you anything. I don't reward discourtesy with my time, energy, or effort. So I thought that was a good one. I did take that one away.
I like that. I will say I have a random note here that there was no cozy companion, but there were butterfly decorations. There was no cat or dog or any little furry friend.
Symbolic
butterflies.
Symbolic cozy companion.
Yes. For some reason I had a notation and it was underlined with the butterflies. Apparently in that moment writing that note, I was very disappointed there wasn't a dog. I don't know why. But
I'll tell you what, it made me want to visit both Brooklyn and Grenada. So I was like, I would be happily interested in visiting either. She had a cat.
I do not remember this cat.
I don't remember. Cat?
What was the cat's name? I have no recollection of the cat, and I read this book twice. Do we know the cat's name? I have no recollection of the cat.
I'm about to like Google search. I'm gonna search in this book cat and see.
I
Let's
was
see.
going, wait a second. Okay, Ziggy. Okay, Ziggy. Allison knows the name.
Oh, no, you're right. And Allison, now that you say that, I do remember that because she talks about how she named him after Ziggy Marley. And
she did mention there, but I thought that I didn't realize that was a current cat. I think I thought that was a cat she had growing up.
A past cat.
Yeah, I thought that was a growing up animal. I didn't realize that was a current animal. Okay, so that maybe went right over my head, or maybe my own little furry companion was doing something that took my attention to her instead. But okay, that I do
That's
remember
so funny. Maybe
that.
I don't know if we actually ever saw the cat. I feel
No,
like
we
we
didn't.
heard about the cat, but it wasn't like we actually got to spend time with the cat. Okay, great. I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
That it's. I'm like, thank you for being on the same page as me, and I'm really glad I mentioned the butterflies and that there wasn't a companion, because now I'm aware of what's going on. I almost got to go read this for a third time, but I don't really think I have the time to do that. So, thank you.
I'm on the same page with Kay. What's her face? Who said, I reread this yesterday. How have I already forgotten about the cat? I finished reading it yesterday and I didn't remember the cat. But you know what I remembered was the name. I remembered Ziggy because there were so many
the Bob Marley. It gave me context.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, but I didn't realize that was the current cat. I thought it was like she had this pet growing up. I didn't realize this cat was still alive. I mean, maybe it was stuffed in her. I don't know what was going on with this cat. Okay,
Yikes.
thank you.
Yikes. But
I didn't know. Maybe it was cremated. I didn't know what happened to the cat. I didn't know if it was alive. Okay.
I want to know, now that you're heading into like the coziest of cozy seasons, what you guys are reading for like the fall winter reads, because like I said, this is the time when like I feel like I really want to read cozies.
Well, we now officially get to do this. Ta-da!
Ooh!
So we have Secondhand Spirits, which is a paranormal cozy for October, and then and there's multiple books in this series too. Like, it's a pretty long series,
and she's in San Francisco. Oh my gosh, I love it.
With novellas too. And then November we have a food-based cozy mystery, and someone mentioned in the comments above previously that we have a sleuther who inherits a bakery and has to learn how to cook. So we have a very different type of sleuther in there. So
oh my god, and look, she has a giant mastiff too. Like there's your cozy companion.
I know, right on the book cover. I mean, I am game. I mean, I'm a dog person, but so I'm like, if you're looking for reads, we still have our TBR in the works. So if you're looking for any additional titles, please consider these two.
Oh, and then December's a buddy read.
December's a buddy read. So that's for 12 days of cozy. So we'll discuss things on social media platforms, but because of the holiday season, there won't be a live stream. So there's only 2 more after tonight for 2025, which is, but you're not doing boobies. The 12 days of boobs nights. You're not doing it.
I know, it's really just because I'm writing. Like, I mean, that really is it. But I will tell everybody, you know, I know Angela's mentioned it, and you can always go back and watch and listen and all that jazz. But before I started writing, I hosted a podcast called Boobies and Newbies. It started out as a romance review podcast. It segued into interviews with authors, but also still discussing romance novels, sometimes having a theme to it, having discussions about specific tropes or you know, like things we would love to see in romance, things we would love to see more of in romance. And one of the things I look forward to every year is that in December, much like Angela does the 12 days of cozies, I do the 12 days of boobsmas. And it becomes 12 holiday romances, 12 podcast episodes where we talk about the book, but also usually play like a fun game. We talk about holiday traditions that we do. And you can still go listen to all of them. They are all still out there. And in fact, you know what I might do this December, especially since I haven't published a podcast episode all year, is I might republish some of the holiday episodes and just like put them back out there. And I really do. I love it. It's so much fun, but it's a lot of work. And you know, like, I know how much work you put into not just the 12 days of cozies, but like your entire programming for the year. And it's just so much time and effort. And I'm trying to be a responsible author who recently signed audiobook deal with Audible. And so now I need to get my manuscripts to Audible 90 days ahead of public. Stop it. You do not need to pop anything.
I did this before we went live because I'm very proud of this woman. I was like, you're confetti. That is a big deal. That is a big deal. You are
so sweet. Yeah, and look, I'm very excited because I know you're an audiobook person. I'm not as much of an audiobook person, but I know that a lot of people are, and I am thrilled that now I get to get these books out into the world in a different format, which actually the first 3 books in my baseball series will be out in November in Audible. And so I also have the holiday books that are also coming to audiobooks via Tantor. So everything is coming to audiobooks eventually. And in the meantime, I'm working on the next book in my baseball series, which I'm really excited about because it's about the catcher, who is a deaf man. He is also like one juicy piece of man meat. And it's a teammate's best friend romance because he falls for his teammate's sister, who's also an autistic woman. She's the one that's very into bees. And so I'm really excited to write, 2 characters with different disabilities and how they like connect with each other. So that's what I'm working on while I'm here in my tin can in the woods. And thank you guys so much for the congrats. Like, it means a lot. It's all for you. It's all, I just want more people to be able to read it. Like that's all I want. So I'm going to be writing smutty romance out here in the woods this week while everybody else is enjoying cozy mysteries.
I saw someone up above mentioned, I just want to, I don't mean to go off track because I do want to talk about your accomplishments, but I am going to be including the 2026 Google form in the October email newsletter. So if you have any final recommendations for 2026 titles, get them in now because I've been putting together the Google form. So that is coming your way. So even more potential cozy mystery titles for you. So you can always look at the list and I hyperlink everything to their Goodreads pages. So even if you see a title and you just want to go look into it, there's more information right there for you. So
I love voting. I look forward to in fact, that's what I meant to tell you. I voted for this book.
Yay!
When we did the vote in December, January, like somewhere in there, actually probably earlier. I loved the ones that you picked for this year. And I was so excited that I got to talk about this one because it ticks off so many boxes that I love to read.
I remember messaging you and I said, what month? And you're going, oh, well, what are the titles? And as soon as you saw the book, you're going, that's the month. That's the one.
Yes.
So sometimes, so again, this lovely lady, she is a returning guest hostess every year. She's back. And so it depends on her, either her availability or B, what book piques her interest. And this book piqued her interest so quickly. She just immediately, I mean, again, you're in the middle of nowhere doing this from.
I know.
So you did this for the book.
I'm going to plan accordingly next year. I'm going to plan to actually be in my house the next time we have a conversation, or else it's just like an ongoing comedy routine where it's that I'm always somewhere else. But that being said, it's always fun to be here. And I love seeing so many returning names that I recognize, but also lots of new folks. Please come follow me. Feel free to send me messages, book recommendations. If you want a book recommendation from me and you want to start a romance reading journey, I am happy to make that happen as well. But yeah, no, Angela and I are very easy to reach if you want to find us. We're a little bit of everywhere. And I am in a cozy place, Meredith. So this was kind of like perfect timing that wasn't really planned in advance. It was kind of a happy accident. So the universe is I wish you guys could see the trailer across from me that's right out the window. It must be like a birthday or something because they have a bunch of lawn flamingos set up around the trailer.
That's kind of amazing. Okay, you need to incorporate that into your book somehow. That is inspiration.
So funny you should say that because the baseball series actually starts It takes place in the Pacific Northwest, and it starts at a vintage trailer resort. And that's one of the features that they have in my fictional town. And I got the inspiration from coming here for a writing treat and thinking, we could have this. We could have this in my fictional town. Why not? So, yeah, if you do read my baseball books, you will read about the fictional, not so fictional, vintage trailer resort, and now you know where it comes from.
You're like, what is it? The writing adage, write what you know. I like that you're taking tidbits from the world around you. I think that's really cute. Also, I like that you look out the window and you're like, this seems like a good idea.
I know. Throw in a few flamingos. Why not?
Well, if you do have any comments or questions for Kelly or anything else about the book you want to discuss, please get them in, because I was just looking at my notes and I know I commented up above before the live stream began, but every comment tonight counts as a giveaway entry. So one sleuther is going to get 2 paperbacks thanks to Kensington Cozies. So the first one is Halloween Night Murder by Lyndsay Murray, Lee Hollis, and Liz Ireland. So it's 3 novellas in one book. And then Trick or Treat Murder, which I have around here somewhere. And again, I love how I have all these things. I'm like, I gotta grab it. Trick or Treat Murder by Lyndsay Murray. So 2 books, all your comments. I will randomly select a winner after all the comments are gathered and then announce them in the October email newsletter. And saying October email newsletter, every month I'm going, I can't believe time is flying this quickly, but I really am blown away that I'm holding up. I mean, this book is also kind of perfect for October. Like, talk about getting the prize that you're meant to be getting. So I did want to make sure if there are any other comments, get them in now, because this could be yours.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Ask a question. Tell me something.
Tell you something. Well, you mentioned that podcast, and so I didn't want to forget, because you guys have been here the whole night, and I know I posted this at the beginning, so I mentioned I was going to do a little something. So if you've been here the whole time, and even if you're watching after the fact or you're listening via podcast when this is archived, if you just want to send me a message, I will send you a Cozy Mystery Book Club podcast sticker. Look at how stinking cute they are with Perla.
The cutest stickers. Like, I have so many Cozy Mystery Book Club stickers at the house. Like, I put them on my water bottles. I have them on notebooks. I even used a green mug tonight because it looked like your green mug, like cutest ones ever.
So things are kind of it depends on where you are. This has been up here the whole night, but I'm grabbing it. So we have Moriarty, Tori, one of the previous guest hosts. She made this for me. And so I've been keeping the little guy up there, but yes, green. And I'll bring it back to the full screen. But yes, my way of saying thank you for being here tonight, because today is podcast day. September 30th is podcast day. It's an actual holiday. And because this will be a podcast episode at some point, you guys, you are officially entitled, and I'm gifting you stickers. So send me a message with your mailing address and I will take care of the rest.
Is it really podcast day today?
It is podcast day. Isn't that amazing?
That's incredible. Like, and I've been calling it, today is the anniversary of when I put a book out last year. And so I've been calling it Jared Pink Day, because that's the hero in that book. But oh my gosh, that's so exciting that it's also podcast day.
It is. So happy podcast day as a podcaster. Even if you haven't been posting, you still have your podcast. It's still accessible and available.
Still there. It's still there. Yeah, I will say these days I hardly ever touch my website. But you know where I am most of the time now is on Substack. And you can listen to all of my podcast episodes over there. It also functions as my newsletter. So that's what I use most of the time these days. But yeah, happy podcast day to everybody, and send her a message so that you can get
this is my way of saying thank you for being a part of the book club. And I get these random updates because I'm one of those people where I don't want to look at the numbers, because if you look at the numbers, you have to pay attention when you gain and lose. And I picked up a troll at one point who was very dedicated. So if you want to post a review for something or give anything, I have a like, because I know someone will come along and do something bad. If you want to post some positivity, give this a thumbs up, or give the podcast a thumbs up. I would appreciate it, because there are some people who spread negativity in spite of everything else. But yeah, no, I just want to say thank you, because I get the notification saying, you've published 50 episodes and you've just hit 30 or 35,000 downloads. And it's really exciting to get those messages. I'm going, oh my gosh, so I use Podbean, so I'll get the kind of automated message as soon as you hit the number. So that's the only time I see the numbers, and I'm very okay with that. And that's all I want to know.
No, and you should celebrate that. I will say we have somebody who said it's my 20th wedding anniversary today. Happy anniversary. There was also a request from your girl to know if Canadians are able to get the stickers as well.
I mean, as long as I use the forever stamps, it should be able to reach you. I can use a couple extras. That's fine. Yeah. So it will probably be limited to US and Canada.
They have international stamps too that are like super cute. I know I have some at home, and I love sending mail. Hey, come follow me. Send me a message and I'll send you something. I've got stickers too. Like if you want mail, I haven't sent out mail in a while. Send me a message and I will send you mail. Okay. And then you can double your mail for October.
You totally just reminded me. I posted this on Instagram, and I'm going to include it in the October email newsletter. So I had been sending Christmas cards to pretty much the list had gotten pretty extensive, but some of them were getting returned because people either moved or whatever, no forwarding addresses. So I have a Google form this year for readers. If you would like to receive a Christmas card from yours truly, I have a Google form so you can sign up to receive the Christmas card. So what I'm going to do is everyone who's placed an order with the Etsy store for the last 2 years, I'm automatically going to send them something. And then if you fill out the Google form, I'm also going to send it to you as well, because, Kelly gets one on. She's also on the list. I love her.
I get random mail from Angela, and it'll show up and there's like 50 stickers and like packs of tea, and I feel like a terrible friend because I hardly ever send anything back, but I love it so much.
But I'm glad you like it. Gift giving is my love language, if you guys couldn't tell, where I'm like, let me give you a sticker, let me send you a card. It's what I do. But I am doing that this year to make sure that everyone's address is current, because that's the other thing. People do move. Sometimes things change. I mean, I just want to make sure too, because sometimes I'll have the username and not your given name. So depending on how you want this card written up. So I'm also going to include that in the October email newsletter. So keep an eye out. It's also on the Instagram. So if you want to receive a Christmas card and you want to receive a little sticker, all the stuff.
Mail is so fun. Let me tell you, that was, if anybody needs like a Christmas idea, like a gift idea, and you have like a good group of friends that like you want to do something fun with. I did this a few years ago where I gave everybody like a set of like stationery cards and like some fun pens and a couple of things of stickers. And we just started doing like a mail rotation where we would just send each other like, I don't know, like once a month, like something in the mail. And it's so fun. Like it's just so fun. And it makes me feel good to like send it. And then when it comes in the mail, obviously you love it. But I cannot recommend it enough. I think I might even do it again this year, because as I'm here at this, beautiful vintage trailer resort in the woods, they have so much art on like consignment from artists who have stayed here. And one of the things that people have in there are like some stationery sets. And so I was thinking maybe this is the time that I get some. So maybe I will, for the first time in forever, send Angela some mail. But I'm a big fan of mail, and I'm serious. You send me a message on Instagram is probably the best place to find me. If you send me a message, I will send you some stickers. And I have some cute stickers. They're not as cute. Yeah. They're not as cute as Angela's. Angela has the cutest ones, but I do have some cute stuff.
So you also just reminded me, they're literally right in front of me, and I still almost forget to mention them. So every book, I've been designing stickers for every book. So this one has daisies in the cupcake, in case you're curious. So baking cozy mysteries make me happy, and Daisy's a little cupcake. So I do have other things. Daisy's a cupcake. How cute is that? I love that. I love the way that came out. But I also have a fun little thing for October and November. I have little Agatha Christie book covers as stickers that I'm also including in all the Etsy orders. So surprise, more sticker fun coming your way. Aren't they adorable? Look how tiny they are. They're so cute. I had fun making those. These ones I made myself. The other ones I ordered through companies. Those ones I made.
Adorable.
And I did see, so if you do mention to me that you have a little free library, I will send you extra swag. And I'm pretty sure, Linda,
Oh,
I've sent you
nice.
some extra bookmarks. If there is a little library or you're doing an event and you something, just send me a message. I typically always double the Etsy orders anyway. So if you include a little note, I'll make it happen.
I love little libraries. We have like 4 within walking distance of our house. Like there's so many near me in my neighborhood, and they're so fun. Sometimes I like to go put like one of my books in them, be like, ooh, tee. But they're just such a great thing to do. And in fact, if people don't know about it, and I'm only mentioning this because it is a worldwide thing, there's this fantastic website called Sidewalk Joy. And it's not little libraries, but it is little library-ish type things that you would find, but it'll be like a little gallery, a little toy exchange, a sticker exchange, a mug exchange. And
Ooh.
it was started by somebody who lives in Portland.
Mug
and
exchange, we say.
Yeah, there are several mug exchanges. And so we have a bunch of them in Portland, Oregon. However, there's the Portland map, and then there's also like the worldwide map. And so anybody can start one and then add it to the map, and people can visit. And I want to start one so bad. I haven't figured out what to do yet, but my roommate is very artsy, so I think we're going to do something. But yeah, it's a great thing to look up and just see what is near me. Like where are things that I can go, pick up random things and trade out stickers, and or even like just little toys or tchotchkes, like whatever. It's so fun. I love stuff like that. I feel like we need more sidewalk joy. So
we need more positivity in the world.
yes, highly recommend checking it out, and hopefully you can find something near you. And if not, then maybe you need to start one.
You were reminding me, one of my favorite cafes in Massachusetts, and it's in Ipswich. It's called Little Wolf Cafe. Everything's blue. Everything, the tables are blue. Like everything is painted blue. I don't know why blue is their color, but everything's blue. And outside they have a little free library, which is all diverse books. It says we're with the band. We read the band books. And then behind it, they actually have, it's a little free food. It's like a little free food pantry. I forget the correct terminology, but you can leave food. And it says, take what you need, leave what you can.
Yes. Yes.
So every time I always pack a bag so that I can leave stuff. So I'm like leaving books and leaving food. And I always love that it's right there as well. It's just perfectly situated. And it makes me so happy that that's there, especially because, food pantries, you have to wait in lines, or sometimes you're embarrassed, or sometimes they run out of things. Like there's so many other components. The fact that it's just there for when you need it, I just think that's the sweetest thing in the world.
And that's one of those things. By the way, Meredith asked, it's called Sidewalk Joy. But that's a great example of, I think there's a lot of people who are always wondering, like, well, what can I do to give back? Especially if like, I don't necessarily have like a lot of disposable income to like spend on things. Like that is a prime example of something that you can do, is even just like visiting a local pantry near you or a little library and cleaning it up, adding a little something to it.
I do. I donated a couple, but I maintain at least 5. I'm always cleaning them up and organizing them. I'm always, because I don't know where their guardians went, but their actual caretakers have not been by in some time. So
and that happens. Like, and the pantries, like we have a bunch of those around Portland. We even have some that have like little refrigerators or a microwave. So like there can be things that people can heat up there, or, pick up like some water bottles from the fridge. So it's like, I wish that was everywhere. I know it's not. But there are ways to give back and to make sure that, everybody's doing okay. Or better than they were, even if you don't have like a lot of money to spend. So if you are, interested in getting involved in that way, I know that this has taken like such a detour from like what we were talking about, but we're heading into the holiday season.
We're talking about coziness. It's still on point as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And I always think of it of like, we're heading into the holiday season. That's something that I know I think about a lot when, especially at this time of year, is like, I know that I'm very lucky in a lot of ways. And so I want to make sure that there's things that I can be doing to help people who are less lucky than I am. And that's a great one, is like pantries, little libraries, donating any kind of, clothing items. I will say one thing that I have found to be so fantastic every year that my friend does, and I tell people about it everywhere, is doing a drive, like you can do it online. You can do like an online drive for people to donate like menstrual products and like personal hygiene products, and putting together like little kits to donate to it could be a specific shelter. There's usually like lots of organizations that are like looking for that. And you'd be surprised, people are so willing to contribute stuff like that. Like you wouldn't have to spend a penny. So that is something that there's lots of ideas that of ways that you can get involved. So
this needs to be one of your Instagram posts of here's a list of all the places with all the links, or you need to have some sort of
no, that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Like because you seem to know about all the different opportunities. I feel like people should be able to.
I've tried to get like more involved in Portland in the last like couple of years. Of like how can I help like my community? Like I know it's not like everyone, but at least it's somebody. And so no, you're right. That's a great idea. Like, and honestly, I've done like fundraisers in the past on my Instagram, but I think that would be a good thing to put together. So I will take that note and I will make it happen.
Oh no, it's like when people ask for certain tropes or diverse books or certain things. I'm like, oh, let me do some research and get back to you and have this like resource available.
Right.
And I'll share it too. Just tag me, send it to me, and I'll help however I can. Yeah, see, as Kathy's saying, every little bit helps.
It does. And I think that's the problem is, and I know I do this as well, is like we tend to go big picture. We tend to think like really big, as opposed to like focusing on like, if we all are helping like smaller organizations, that all adds up to the big picture. And so I encourage everyone to do it. And it will make you feel so good to know that you are like actually being a part of that. But anyway, that is enough from me. And I know that so many people are probably heading to bed because they're not on the West Coast like I am. I'm meanwhile about to go have some dinner.
Well, I did see. So this woman, I'm going to give her a shout out. She has a YouTube channel, and she actually, I was able to upload this a couple minutes ago when I saw she was here. So she made me cry earlier because she included a shout out to me, the channel, the book club. So I wanted to give her a shout out. That Kristen in the Kitchen saying she has a YouTube channel. Go support her. Go watch the video with all the list of YouTubers she's recommending, because it's a great list, and I was so honored to be a part of it. Honestly, because again, I very much don't see things sometimes, and I also don't get tagged and stuff. So like, even if there's something out there, I might not know about it. So her video was actually a couple months old, and I just saw it like within the last week. And when I saw
story of my life,
for some reason, all of a sudden, someone said, I was recommended to you from Kirsten. I'm going, oh, really? I'm like, oh, okay.
Kirsten.
I'm like, how did you find me? And they sent the link, and I watched it, and she was so sweet and so thoughtful. Yeah, well, thank you. I saw you pop up. I'm like, I hope she's still here, and I hope people can click on her beautiful profile photo and go follow her and send some love.
Other creators, we love to see it.
I just saw it though, and I was so honored to be included, and it made, I don't do things to be appreciated, like to get credit or anything like that. So like when you get a random shout out and someone says you're doing a good job, or she said things feel very professional. I'm like, she said I sound professional, and it made me feel I just really put a big smile on my face, and I was crying because I'm going, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the kindness. I was like, I did not pay her for any of those kind words. But she made my day, and probably my week, my month. So I just wanted to say, like, give her a shout out. Go check out her channel, subscribe. I subscribed to her. As soon as I saw the video and then I watched her other videos, I'm going, okay, I need to make sure I give this one a shout out. So now she also knows that I'm talking about her, because I was putting together a post to say thank you and tag her on other accounts. So now when she sees that, she's going to know, oh, okay, this is why I'm all of a sudden all over this place.
Amazing. We love to see it. Well, thank you so much for such a wonderful evening, and for, letting me read this book with you and everybody here, because it was a lot of fun. It's always a treat. And I feel like you've kicked off my cozy season, which is perfect because October starts tomorrow.
I'm in my cozy girl era.
Hoa, 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 hoa.
Era. My era. I love how everything's an era now because of Taylor Swift. We're all in
Yep.
our eras. I know. I'm in my pumpkin spice era, like, you know. I'm trying to be on my cozy. And so again, this is again my dedication to this book club. My thought process was there's orange in the title, there's orange on this, so it worked color coding wise. So there was a thought process. There was. I killed Kelly by accident. And maybe the screen just froze on her in that exact moment, but unless I'm frozen, I can't tell because Kelly's frozen. Anywho, hopefully this is still streaming and we can get Kelly back to say goodnight. But I did want to say thank you to everyone. And if you did have any final 2026 recommendations, please send them here, DM me, email me. Here's my email address. Also, to get your sticker. I mean, seriously, I am just so appreciative of you guys staying and spending the night with me and celebrating Cozy Mysteries. And then again, next month, we're going to be talking about secondhand spirits. So if you'd like to read a paranormal cozy mystery and get in the spooky season, hopefully you'll be able to join us then. And again, it's always the last Tuesday of the month, every month, 7 p.m. EST, right here on YouTube. And I believe we just lost Kelly. So it is officially time for me to say goodnight. And thank you guys again for being here and being a part of the Cozy Mystery Book Club. And you guys officially get to see the backdrop of all the cozy mysteries behind me. So thank you for joining tonight. Please stay safe, kind, and creative. And as always, happy reading, writing, and sleuthing. Bye, everyone.